Welcome everyone to episode number 155 of Pro NoCoders Office Hours. I'm your host, Tonya. I'm here with members Jay and Thomas and my Kim. It's a little bit light on attendees today, so I guess everyone's busy getting their apps together and they don't have questions right now, but that's okay. We will find something to talk about. There's plenty to talk about today. But if this is the first time you're tuning into Pro NoCoders Office Hours, what it is we do this every day of the week, Monday through Friday, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And members of Pro NoCoders Office Hours subscription can come into our Zoom, which we broadcast live, and they can ask us any bubble questions that they want or bring up any bubble topics that they want, and we will cover them. And it just makes it so much easier and faster if you always know that there's a place where you can go and you can ask questions and you can get help and you can kind of get the collective group's support on building your app. It makes things much better, I think. Right, Jay?
I agree.
You agree? Okay. Yeah, we've recently had a few launches from Pro NoCoders, which is cool. Like the core group of Pro NoCoders Office Hours members, a lot of launches have happened in the last couple weeks here. So, all right, we're going to get started in just a moment. Jay says she doesn't have any questions. Thomas, do you have any questions?
Nope.
No?
No.
What should we talk about? Should we talk about the new responsive engine?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What do you think, Thomas? You've been working in it for a little bit. What are your thoughts?
I think general philosophy is that it helps bubblers, even the ones that don't know how to design on a page, to keep things structured.
Okay.
Because I don't know, I feel like the drag and drop situation just leads many to half-ass work. No offense to those who do that. But you know,
I feel singled out.
That's not going to cut it in the real world. So I think what's really interesting about this new responsive is that you have to think in regards of responsiveness while you're working out your application, and like waiting to do it later. Right.
Got it. That makes sense. We have a couple of episodes that we've done. Let's see, we've got episode number 148. Eli was covering it. That was the day that it was launched. And then you can also look for the special episode where we went live. This one's really exciting, I think, where Eli cloned Bubble's homepage using the new responsive editor. And then my favorite one so far to use is a tutorial, which I saw someone posted asking for a good course on it. There aren't a lot of courses or material on it just yet because it's super new and it's also in beta. So a lot of people who would normally do courses for it are holding off because they want to wait until it's a little more stable and what you see is like what's going to persist. But Zubair, who happens to be I think this is just searching my channel. I want to search YouTube. There we go. This one right here, the new responsive tutorial. And then he looks like he just did one 2 days ago, which was specifically for repeating groups and tables. These would be like, if you're searching for material on the new responsive engine, I would go here as well. These are very, very good. I attended this workshop live and it was pretty good. So let's see what else is.
Have you dabbled with it, Jay?
No, when it came out, I tried to convert the site that I'm redoing, Goldfish, and it immediately threw up 300 and something errors. So I rolled back.
You're like, take it back.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really want to go through these errors. I'm sure they were unimportant, but I'm going to start fresh with the next app with it and see how it goes. I mean, I'm sure it'll go fine. The next app is much more enterprise focused. It's going to look more like a regular app. So, you know, that is a good chance to work with it.
Are you allowed to talk about that idea, or?
I mean, I can talk about it. It's going to also be very probably heavy on AWS. It's going to be a way for organizations to capture historical knowledge using voice.
Nice. Fascinating.
And I want to also incorporate artificial intelligence to do processing on the transcripts and sort them and possibly like tag them or make them findable. I don't know how that's going to go. I haven't worked with AI before directly, you know, as a developer. So there'll be a lot of learning, and I expect a lot of tears.
What happened to Garden Brain?
Oh, Garden Brain's just, you know,
Doing its thing.
rotting on the vine. I hired a new social media person, so I'm going to, hopefully that'll help get some users. But right now it's just sort of, you know, doing nothing much. I get a few people signing up, not a lot of activity yet. And honestly, I'm just not going to stress about it.
There you go. It's a good way to think about it.
Bring it, hopefully, I'll do. What's that?
At least you're flexible.
I mean, I can't lose sleep over something like that. The new social media person, that should help. And in the spring or late winter, I'm going to do a big push at American audiences and just see if that makes a difference.
Got it. Like, how much lead time would you recommend somebody from the US have on it to get everything set up for the season?
I'm going to start pushing in February so they can start planning.
Okay.
But I don't know. I think February and March, depending on what kind of gardener you are. The real hassle is putting your plants in, but as I get more and more plants in the database, it isn't that much of a hassle at all. It's only a few clicks.
Got it. That's cool. Do most people sit down and plan out their gardens like before they go to the store?
I know my grandma does.
I think everybody's a little different.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually met anybody who plans. They always have like tips and tricks though.
I think most people have a pretty good idea. I mean, they've only got this much sun. They want tomatoes. They want zucchini. It's got to go there. There's, you know, so a lot of the planning is kind of done for you by your yard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you go to the garden center and you buy something that you didn't expect to buy. Now you're like, damn it, where am I going to put this?
Where am I going to put this? How is this going to work?
Exactly. That's what I do anyway.
It's tragic is like getting a house plant and then you have to like, you don't have room for it. I feel bad.
There's always room.
I had to throw a house plant away the other day. I was like, damn.
That's criminal.
Right.
You know, you took a life.
That is criminal. You're right. I felt bad about it afterwards. I was like, it's kind of dying. I know I could save it, but I'm not going to save it.
I let mine live a long time, slowly dying before I give up. But the other day I was walking my dogs and somebody had put like a huge bunch of different houseplants out at the curb. And I was like, oh my God, I've heard about people throwing away plants and other people finding them, but I thought it was a myth. So I ran the dogs home and got my car.
Dang.
Went back and took about, I don't know, more than half of them.
That's hilarious. That's funny. Do you know anybody that's worked with, changing the subject, that's
With
worked
what?
with voice and Bubble?
With voice. I don't know anybody who has. I'm sure people have.
Like, you
Yeah.
mean recordings? Like
Well,
audio?
I was thinking like more like Siri AI, right? Is that what you were going for?
No, I'm not doing Siri. Because that is a little different than what I'm doing. That's streaming. And then you're incorporating the AI with the stream. I'm doing data, basically capturing data and then trying to convert it into intelligence. So like Goldfish is simpler. It doesn't do that much. It just takes your audio and transcribes it. So that's pretty straightforward. But the next project won't be that straightforward because it's for enterprises. So I'm going to have to find a way to let the business, the customer tag, essentially tag the content by industry or by benefit or problem or feature or product name. So I think I'm going to build that in to the admin section for the marketing teams to use, where they can kind of set it up to tailor it to their organization. And so it's going to take some thought.
Gotcha. Busy gal, huh?
Well, nothing, I mean, we'll see. I'm busy getting not a lot done.
Yeah, that's why I try to stick to one thing at a time.
Yeah. I'd like to get goldfish out the door before I start the next one, which is my plan.
And do you know which one is the next one? Is it the one you've been talking about from the beginning?
The next one, yeah, that's the one with the SME capture. I'm going to call it Immortal SME.
Oh, do I know about this one?
I don't know. I don't know. I might have mentioned it. I might not have. It's to get everything that's in subject matter experts' heads
Yes.
into your database.
Yes, you did. That's the one I was thinking.
Yeah, I think that one could be a winner, but we'll see. I think all my ideas could be winners, and then I'm usually sorely disappointed.
Right. I tend to be suspicious whenever I'm suspicious of myself when I think I have a good idea. I'm like, is that really a good idea though?
Well, I throw out more than I try because most of them are not. Like I can see right away why it's a bad idea. But when it's just you as a solo person doing the stuff, you have to also think not only can I build it, is there a need for it, but can I get it to more? Can I build market awareness for it?
Yeah, that's like the downside is like you have to balance it. You want to balance it all. It's very hard to do that though.
I agree.
It's very hard to do that. But with proper planning, scoping, I think you can get a lot done.
Oh yeah, that'll never happen.
It's useful though, I will say.
Oh, yay. Finally, somebody else who thinks it's useful.
I mean, this is how I think about it. There's a reason why these processes exist. This process doesn't exist to annoy you. The process exists because creating an application takes a lot of steps. And if you don't organize those steps in a way where it's actionable and effective, you're just wasting your time.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing. I don't think scoping's bad. It's really good. It used to be when I worked with teams, I would do the scoping, and I did that, as my own project. Then I gave it to my technical team and graphics teams, and they built it. And that was great. I had to think everything through. But when I'm working on my own, I tend to take shortcuts. For one thing, I think better with the mouse in my hand. So I end up just beginning to build, and then I want to see how it'll work. So I throw some data in. Next thing you know, I've kind of made a mess. So I need to get away from that and have a new process, and I will for the Immortal SME, because that one I don't want to mess. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that stuff. I want to spend my time on the back end.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been kind of trying to figure that out too with Bubble, at least. Just like what is worth doing and what's not worth doing.
In terms of which projects to approach?
Or just like when you approach a project, what's worth trying and what's worth not doing, I definitely think like laying out a foundation of what you intend to build is important. That's what I was talking about with the scope.
I think a lot of it depends on what your goal is and how you want to get there. Like for me, I really don't mind messing around a good bit usually, because first of all, who am I hurting but me? I'm not hurting anybody. And second of all, if I'm going to learn stuff along the way, then it's going to make things better for my next project. So I kind of don't mind those tangents. I've learned so much with Garden Brain that when I went back to redo Goldfish, it was like I was huge steps ahead. Like I didn't have to, so much stuff. I was like, oh, okay. I understand why that was a problem. Boom, fixed.
Yeah, I learn a lot without scoping stuff out. I do a lot of prototypes. I love doing prototypes, as you guys have probably seen. That's why I have so many different sandboxes, one per month, right? So I love just building things out quickly and seeing if I can do them. I think that it's a little bit like when you're talking about actually sitting down to create the app where you're going to have users, I think scoping starts to play a role, even at the very beginning, just in terms of sort of what if this takes off and I end up with thousands of users kind of scenario, right? What if I do need to bring in another developer at some point to be able to help me with this, things like that, which You don't want to over plan for that too much because how many apps actually take off in that direction. But at the same time, you also, you can set yourself up to be a little bit more successful out of the gate without too much effort. So just having an idea helps. But definitely if you're working with other people, you have to have it. I don't think there's much of a choice there. If you're going to be working with other people on the app, then
Yeah.
you have to have the game plan written down.
Absolutely.
So, yep. So I think we're going to have somebody join us, a guest join us, who wants to talk about how to display a list from a database and filter it with Bubble. That could be fun. Let's see if he shows up. In the meantime, let's get some data so we have something going. Does anybody remember the link to the place that will generate a whole bunch of data for you? Like
No.
import into your app? No.
I don't know it.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
There's a free one, so let's see. Data generator. Mockaroo, that's the one.
Clever.
Let's see here.
Wow, and you can just import this into your Bubble app pretty quickly. Really?
Yep. So we don't need that one because Bubble does that one automatically.
Is this Bubble specific? No.
Nope. I don't need this when your first name, last name. Let's see here. What else could we do? Well, let's go look, let's see what we have in our user table here. We could have role, right? So users. This isn't, that's the one where we were working on it, right? I was talking user or something like, what is that? First, last. So let's see here. First, last. I can't believe I've never used this before.
Yeah, likewise. I was looking for something like this. It is good to know.
Oh, well, it doesn't look like it's set up to do that, but that's okay. Let's see. Let's see what else is here. Do that. Car make. Let's just start with this. First, last, email, car make, car model.
Pretty good.
Car model year. Am I missing something? Is there a button to do it? Oh, I guess I have to sign in to do it. What's that, Kim?
I sent you a question from Wasim Akbar.
I can't hear you. You're too soft.
Oh. Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, that's better.
I sent you a message from Wasim.
Okay. Oh, it came in. Got it. Is it possible to tags and description of each session to roughly get an idea of today's topic? Also, it will help to trace back. If someone wants to watch any particular session going backwards. Wasim, we don't do this ahead of the session because we don't require our members to ask their questions ahead of time. If there's something particularly noteworthy and we know we're going to be talking about it, we will post that ahead of time and let people know that it's coming. But if you watch the replays on YouTube, if you go to the YouTube channel and you click into a session like this one here, you'll see Kim does an awesome job of doing timestamps and showing the keyword and the time that we started talking about something in particular during the session. So that's an excellent question. And the answer is we don't tag them ahead of time because we don't know what we're going to be talking about ahead of time. Most of the time we don't know ahead of time, but Kim does keep track, and she comes back here, and when she uploads to the YouTube channel, she puts the timestamps in there so you can know what we're talking about. The other thing is our new vault, which we're going to be launching for, I think, next week for Black Friday. It's going to be launched and ready to go. That's going to be a highly searchable compilation of our videos, and it's going to be much easier to find what it is that you're looking for. And we're aiming for, the shortest route to the specific answer that you're looking for. And that's, that will be happening next week. If you would like to be on the mailing list, the email list for the wait list for the new vault, you can go and sign up at pronocoders.com. It's free to sign up, just in the corner, just sign up. And then that way, when it's launched, you'll get the email so you'll know it's available. Hey, Kevin, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. So you were asking about displaying data from a database and then being able to filter it in Bubble?
Yeah, so I have a big database and I just wanted to see if I can create something in Bubble that people could, go on there and filter and pull data from that database. That's kind of what I was interested in. Similar to like Reference USA and like database companies like that.
Got it. And what are you using for your database? Is it
I'm not sure. Right now we have a bunch of stuff on Google Sheets, but I know it's being transferred into like an actual database, but I don't know what they're using.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, as long as it has a REST API that can be queried, you should be fine being able to use it for Bubble.
Okay.
The biggest thing is going to be Bubble has some limitations in terms of the number of things that you can pull in one call. There are workarounds for that though. So you can pull in more than 200 things. And then you can filter once things are on the page. So I guess the best way to show that would be using Airtable. So we did, oops, I need to go back. So we did an Airtable integration with this app. not that long ago, but I think it expired already in the Airtable that I did, but we used. Are you familiar with Airtable?
No, not really. I'm
Okay,
like
so
I'm like just starting to learn about all this stuff.
got it, got it. So Airtable is is kind of like Google Sheets, except it requires that all of the things in the same column be of the same data type. So it sort of restricts you that way. But it's very much like, I mean, they call them bases for a reason. So if I just start from scratch here with a new one, you just have rows and columns basically. And so like an example of what you're talking about doing would be reaching into something like this, grabbing the data, pulling it onto a page in Bubble. And then being able to filter it from there to only pull the things that you want. So let's just try to build that right now. Let me grab, I'm gonna go off screen sharing just long enough to grab my API key and everything that I don't want to share. And then I'll come right back on. So. So what kind of data is it? Just out of curiosity.
It's like a bunch of household data.
Household, okay.
So I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
So you said that it pulls up like everything on the screen and then you could filter it from there. What if it's like a couple million contacts? Obviously, you don't want to have all that pulled up at once and then filter it. So is there a way to filter it where it just pulls up on the screen?
Yeah, you'd have to change the query, right? And then yes, it can be done. You might be looking at more than no code to get it done. You know who's done this before that I've seen working with tons of millions of contact records in Bubble was Robbie Frank. And he's been all over lately. He's been all over the groups and stuff lately. He's a member of our Facebook group as well. He was actually one of the original members of our office hours. And you could ask him about it and how he was able to achieve it, but he actually sold that company that he was doing that with not that long ago. So yes, the answer is it can be done. He was using an SQL database hosted with AWS, I believe. So.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll have to look into that.
Let's see here. Let me grab, I'm almost done. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. So let's just create some data here. Delete these here. Here, this will be. And so we have Thomas, Jay, Tonya, and Kevin, and Kim. And then member member, guest. Under. There you go. So we have names and we have status, so we can filter by the status, right? So if I go and I'm gonna stop sharing just long enough to do this setup. No. Clearly I use Airtable too much. It's not picking it up. Let's see here. Sorry, I just don't want to share my API key. It's on screen soon. We're going to have an extension that will block the API keys, so I won't have to do this anymore. Thank you, Eli. Well, what do you do when your API key is not working? All right, let's try again. There it is. Got it. One other thing. So I'll share my screen while I create this status here. Let's try it in an option set. So status, member, guest, team member, and founder. And then plugin. Okay, we'll go with that. Okay, perfect. Now I have that done, so we should be able to share freely. Thank you for your patience. So now we're going to do a repeating group. Let's see here. I've never tried to pull it in on the page from Airtable before. Guess I'm going for don't know how that would work because that's not going to pull up the right thing. Pages. Let's just create a new thing in the database. I don't think it's gonna resolve though. Is type names and status. Ah, got it. Okay, that's what I needed to do. Names and status and Airtable names and status. So they're reconciled. And I don't have any constraints on this. So then if I go into text here, then this one should be name, and then this one should be status. So if I preview this, should see everybody. Yep. So this is pulling from Airtable. So it has everybody's name and status. And then if I want to filter this, I could put here a drop down. And in this case, I'll just leave it static choices and I'll say guest member, team member, founder. And then here, I will filter by status equals drop downs value, and I'll ignore the empty constraints. So now if I constrain it to begin with, like maybe only showing a user the first 100 records or something like that, then coming in here after we have the data already loaded on the page, we can filter by guest, by members, by team member, or by founder. So you're not wrong. The biggest concern is if you're searching through tens of millions of items or records in a database, the big thing is going to be constraining that query to begin with. So you're only waiting to return the results that you actually need. And then even then, you're still going to want to probably paginate. You're not going to want to load too much data on one page just in general. Like you can think of like Gmail only loads like 50 items at a time for your email, and it doesn't give you the option to load more than that. And that's just because it would be too slow to load that much data. So you'd want to think in terms of improving user experience that way. So paginating the results and making sure you're only pulling in 100 to 200 tops at a time, but also making sure that the pagination works such that you can get those next set back. And then you would be able to filter those results on the page. So does that help?
Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry.
Awesome, no worries. Yep, so it can be done. You can, there's not much, like in terms of the question of can it be done with Bubble? I think the biggest things that you don't, that I advise against doing in Bubble is anything that's super innovative in terms of the way that it looks on the page. So if, as long as you can design it like super graphic heavy games kind of thing, Bubble's not the right platform for. But database interactions, Bubble's made for.
Gotcha. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for going through that. I just found what Bubble is, so I just need to get far more familiar with it.
Sure, absolutely. And then what we do here on office hours is we don't teach Bubble per se, but we help get our members unstuck. So like if you get started and you're working on something and you get stuck and you need help getting unstuck, you would come to office hours for that. And yeah, you can sign up at pronocoders.com. So
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you.
perfect. Nice to meet you. Are you looking for tutorials or anything? Like how to learn Bubble?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Right. Awesome. My favorite is still, I think it's really good, is I still recommend Greg John's Udemy course. That's how most people I know who learned from a course, we all love this one. It's the Bubble Beginners Bootcamp. It's still pretty, even though it's from 2019, it's still pretty accurate. If you got stuck on anything, you could bring it to us in office hours. We help get you unstuck. This is using the old responsive engine. The new responsive engine is still in beta and just was released like less than 2 weeks ago. So it won't cover any of that, but it'll cover how to get and manipulate the data. So.
Awesome. I will check that out for sure.
Cool. Very cool. All right. Thomas, Jay, or Kevin, any other questions for office hours? Nope, we're good. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap up this office hours session and move into after hours for our members. If you would like to join office hours and ask your Bubble questions, please go to pronocoders.com and sign up today. We'll be back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific time. See you then.